We're recording. Back again, once again. Uh, we're gonna do probably UNC stuff. That's like what we like talking about sometimes. Um, before we get started, if you haven't already, follow both of us on social media.
Right.
I am Ethan D. Boyd. Yes. Carter is.
I'm C. Dot Arter Patterson. It looks like Carter Patterson with the dot in between the C and the A.
It's smooth names. It's smooth names. Um, Also, Street Collection. You can buy stuff if you want. I'm not sure if I still even have a code, but if I do, it's Ethan, and it's like 10% off, something like that. Anyways, Carter, I am going to defer to you from now on because I'm going to be honest. I have watched 0 minutes of 0 games this season for UNC basketball because I just couldn't care less.
Well,
I'm just not a basketball guy. So, what's this weekend? What's happening?
all right. So Carolina basketball this year has been not very good once again. Um, we're better than we were last year somehow. It's not saying much, but this weekend, the good thing is Duke is absolutely god awful. Um, so we should win. Um, That doesn't mean we will win. We should have beat Syracuse. We did not. But we beat Florida State, which is we're ranked 11th in the nation. So what's up with that? I don't know. Walker Kessler is showing he's having a couple big games. Caleb Love needs to get his head out of his ass. Uh, Armando, if he stays out of foul trouble, we'll be okay. You know, Duke doesn't have a big weapon to hurt us. I don't think.
Yeah. To be fair, we probably should have beat them last year. At least.
Well, we should have won the game at home.
Okay. I believe I might have been, yeah, I was having a fun time the second game, so I can't say I remember the game, but because that was over spring break, I believe.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I do remember us losing that game because I was at a bar when we lost that game. Um, Anyways, Carter, what are you saying? Give me a score prediction.
All right. Well, neither team scores a lot. We're just not natural scorers on either team. I think we're both averaging low 70s. So I'm gonna say that the final score, it's a Carolina Duke game. No matter how bad the teams are, they're always gonna be close. I'm gonna say 73-69 UNC.
Okay, 73-69 UNC. Um, Actually, no, I haven't watched 0 games this season. I watched some of the Texas game early in the season. Um,
Was not
I
a game to watch.
No, it was not a good game to watch.
That was
Um,
that was back when we were excited. Sorry to interrupt you, but that was back when we were excited for the season. When I truly believed that we were going to be okay.
that was cow.
So the thing was, is the freshmen that looked like they were just scared and playing like freshmen, but looked like they had potential,
Yeah,
never got over the hump of being scared and being a freshman. So I don't think they're actually that good as what I thought they should be.
really.
Do I think that they'll get better over the next 4 years when they're here? Yeah, because I don't think that any of them are gonna go. None of them are gonna go this year. Maybe Dayron Sharp, but we don't need them.
Allegedly, Caleb is still projected like top 10 in the NBA draft. I don't get the NBA draft. It's never clicked with me like how they evaluate players. But yeah, apparently he's top 10. What are you thinking about that?
When did you hear that?
That was early in the season, so it probably has changed since.
Yeah, I don't think he's projected to go top 10.
Not anymore. I
If
don't
he
even.
goes, I will be surprised because I think he knows he has a lot to learn. I
Yeah,
haven't heard that though. So
he seems a bit raw. He seems a bit like because he's not a great shooter. He's
well,
freakishly athletic though.
no, he is, and he's a good basketball player, but he's very inconsistent, and he needs to learn things. Um, but I honestly like Cole Anthony, it was different. Cole Anthony needed to learn things for college performance, but he already had basketball skill for the NBA in some aspect. I don't
Yeah.
think Kevin Love has that.
Yeah.
Um, he his ISO game's not as strong as Cole's was, type of thing. He's not as electric of a scorer.
Yeah.
Um,
As neither Cole nor Kobe, the
yeah.
last two to play that position.
And Cole could score, but he didn't help the team, and that's what we needed in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I got to ask your opinion. You're just going to, underneath your name or wherever your camera's positioned when I'm editing this, I'm just going to put basketball analyst because I don't watch it. So I'm going to refer to you on these situations.
yeah.
What do you think of the Duke player who decided to forego the rest of the season to prepare for the draft? What's your opinion?
What I mean, what does Duke have to do the rest of the season? I understand it. Um, I mean, honestly, Duke sucks. They're not going to win the national championship. Why risk getting hurt? I'm saying that as I don't like Duke, and if that was a Chapel Hill player, I would be upset
Yeah.
because I that it's just like players not playing in bowl games type of
Yeah.
situation, and that pisses me off as a fan of Chapel Hill, and it would piss me off as a fan of Duke if it was like I said. But I understand where he's coming from. Duke sucks.
Yeah. It's
What
kind of
what do
like,
they have? What does he gain from playing?
yeah, it's a bit of a throwaway season, anyways. I'm surprised anybody's playing college sports right now, but like, especially for Duke with how they've played, not just to start the season, but just in general, they've been horrible.
Yeah. When Duke also wasn't playing games in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, because they had a
Um,
bunch of COVID tests or COVID
yeah,
cases, right? Yeah,
yeah.
it's an interesting one. Um, Switching over from basketball to something I do know stuff about, the NFL. Washington football team just as of recording this, maybe like an hour ago, cut what's his name? They cut Alex Smith, which to the plebeians that
This is
don't
the first
understand.
I've heard of this.
Huh? Oh yeah. To the plebeians who don't understand the NFL, they'll say, "How dare they do that?" But to those who actually understand professional sports, the cap space, we needed to cut him.
Yeah,
Like, I hate to say that like we needed to cut him, and the fact that we did cut him, but he'll always be a great story in the NFL to come back from his leg basically holding on by a few pieces of skin to playing an NFL game and taking a team to the playoffs. But
yeah. I
yeah,
was gonna say, not just playing. He was a good quarterback.
yeah. But you got to look at it from a business point of view is if we keep him, we're paying him, I think it's like he's like a $15 million cap hit. Whereas if we cut him, we get those 15 million. We can
Yeah,
use it on a different player.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, does Alex Smith have a? Is he a franchise? Is he your franchise's future? No, he's not.
Exactly.
That's
Um,
good to do it.
I do have to ask Carter this now, though, that we're talking about franchises and futures. Sir Dak is not feeling the Cowboys' offers. I want to hear what you
Russell
think.
Wilson is.
So, what are you thinking about the situation? Dak leaves,
Um,
Russell comes in.
yeah, I don't know. On paper, yeah, it looks good. Will Jerry Jones mess it up and go 8-8 with Russell Wilson too? Yeah, he will. Like it's just I don't know. I don't think Russell Wilson's not going to be the savior to the Cowboys.
No.
The only person that can save the Cowboys is Jerry Jones, and that's by dying. So
But then his son will probably think he's Jerry Jones Jr. I mean, Jerry Jones, here's the interesting thing. He's not a bad person when it comes to like accruing talent. He's very good at drafting and picking out talent in the NFL. The issue is he doesn't know when to take his hand off the wheel.
okay, so um, I was talking to somebody about the NFL, and the person I was talking to was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, right? So he's not a Cowboys fan. he said that Jerry Jones saved the NFL. And what he meant by that was Jerry Jones brought so much money into the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, he can say that because he's not a Cowboys fan. Uh, Jerry Jones has done, he's a perfect businessman, right? He can
Yeah.
bring money. He's got, one of the biggest fan bases of all time. The Cowboys are up there, if not, they're like number 2, I think, of the most expensive franchises, right?
Yeah, they're definitely in the
All of
top
sports.
10 at least. Yeah.
I think they're top 3.
Yeah, it might be like I think like Manchester United might be 1,
Yeah.
and then they're probably I probably put them in.
Yankees are up there as well. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jerry Jones, he makes good business decisions. He does not make good football decisions,
I'll give you that.
that's why it's frustrating as a Cowboys fan to have him as our owner, because we always go 8-8. We might make the playoffs because our division sucks, and then we lose first round, second round. Like, I don't know when or if I'm gonna see us Cowboys Super Bowl, and that's frustrating.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's my thought on, because I've always thought about that too, is like my dad saw all 3 Washington Super Bowls and I've seen 0.
Yeah.
My thought on that is I don't remember who said it, but like football, sports and life in general is cyclical. Stuff will come and it'll go. And also history doesn't repeat itself, but history often rhymes.
Yeah.
Like, so I have a feeling in our lifetime, there will be another period like there was in the 80s and 90s where the NFC East dominates. I don't think it'll be necessarily like, I don't know if it'll be now or when I'm 8 and when we're both 80, but like the way the NFL always repeats itself, like we're now getting to a point where the Chiefs are good again. The Chiefs weren't good. I mean, you take away Joe Montana playing for the Chiefs. They weren't good like until when Vince Lombardi was the coach for the Green Bay Packers. And so
Yeah.
I just think it's going to repeat itself. It'll come back around. I mean, just like
I think so too.
Switching the conversation because I just thought of it. I want to talk goats because this is an interesting argument my dad and I have had literally nonstop. So I always say Serena Williams is the GOAT for tennis, but he points out that she doesn't have the most Grand Slams. It's some Eastern European girl, I think.
I don't know her name off the top of my head.
But so she has the most Grand Slams. So it's just
all right.
Let me hear your opinion on. Okay, so here's my opinion on the GOAT. I have 2. 1, GOAT is dependent on when you're alive. So, like for us, we could say for your and I's generation, we could say either Kobe's the GOAT. Some people are saying Steph Curry is the GOAT for slightly younger than us, I think. And majority of people in our generation will say LeBron is the GOAT. My dad's generation is like, no, Jordan's the GOAT. Because when he was growing up, it was Jordan. And if you're not going to choose Jordan, it's Magic. Those are the 2 players. And I'm just using basketball because basketball is easy. But then I made the point to my dad. I said, well, you think Jordan is the GOAT, but if our grandpa watched basketball, he'd be saying Bill Russell was the GOAT because Bill won 11.
Well, yeah. Well, Bill's got 11 championships.
Yeah.
Now, going solely off championships, Bill Russell is the greatest athlete of all time.
Yeah. So it's just like, to me, GOAT is dependent on the time you're alive and what you're basing it off of.
Okay. Now I have that there's an algorithm. There is a specific equation that you get to GOAT, and it takes into consideration the time, right? It takes into consideration who you're playing against, takes into consideration the adversity that you went through, right? All these things that they add up to make the GOAT. So therefore, you can have a GOAT of the time, yes, but GOAT overall includes, all right, this is what that time was like. This is why this time is better than that time. That's why people say that Jordan is the best. He's better than LeBron. They didn't play at the same time, two different generations, but I still think that Jordan is the best because of his championships. Yeah, his time. Yeah, he had Pippen. What I am, all the arguments for Jordan and against Jordan for LeBron, whatever. There's still a way to compare that generation, that time period versus this time period. Right?
Mhm.
That being said, it's difficult to compare athletes over different sports.
Yes.
But I must say that it is hard, in my opinion, it is hard to argue the fact that Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time.
All right, hold on. I gotta come back to this. So I'll agree with you. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time.
That's not
And
what I said.
let me finish my point. And here's why. Couple things. One, I think there are only a couple sports where you can be called the greatest of all time without putting a position or some type of asterisk next to it. Here are the sports. You can do tennis, you can do golf, you can do running, you can do gymnastics, you can do any sport where you are the only person that can determine if you win.
1v1. Okay.
Yes, exactly. 1v1, or like in golf, it's one versus the course, or running, it's one versus the time sometimes. That's my opinion on that. Those are the only sports you can be called the GOAT. The sports you can be called the greatest of all time at quarterback, or the greatest of all time at point guard, or the greatest of all time at left forward, if you're playing soccer or hockey, are those sports because it's a team game. Tom Brady can't play defense. I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He might be the greatest player in NFL history because of his winning, but it's hard to argue the fact that you can't say he's better than Jerry Rice, because if Jerry Rice doesn't have someone to throw it to him, his team loses. Does that make Jerry Rice worse? No, because all Brady has to do is snap the ball and it's in his hands. So in my opinion, you can't say Tom Brady is the GOAT player because you play one position and you don't even play defense. In basketball, you can maybe argue for the greatest athlete as being Jordan because he had to play offense and defense. In soccer, same thing. You have to play offense and defense. I'm not taking no bull jive as him being the greatest athlete because I know it's everyone's like Brady Belichick. Without Belichick, he doesn't win 6. I'm just saying, without Belichick, he doesn't win 6.
Without Belichick, he just won 1 in 1 year at the age of 40, 50 years old.
But his team, you got to look at his team. That defense was good. The offense was good. To me, it's
one of the best offensive. That's the best, one of the best receiving
cores that he's ever had.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my opinion. I don't think certain teams.
Yes, I go. Okay. But what's Tom Brady's job?
To throw the ball.
What is the one thing that he can do to be the greatest at?
Throw
his
the ball.
job, right? Whatever he does, he is the best quarterback. That is his job. He is an athlete. He is a competitor, and he's the best that ever done that position. And he has dominated more than anybody else has dominated in their particular job. Right?
Yeah.
So he has done his job better than anybody else has ever done their job, in my opinion.
In that position.
Yes, but that's their job. That's Tom Brady's job, is to be a quarterback. So if he's the best quarterback and that's his job, and he's an athlete, he's got to be the greatest competitor of all time. I've thought about it because I hate him. I can't stand Tom Brady. But I understand what you're doing, what you're saying about 1v1. But then again, you talked about earlier time, right? So, Roger Federer. Let's talk about tennis. Roger Federer is playing 1v1, so he can only control what he does. But he's also playing against the best players in the world, Nadal and Djokovic, who are all top three best tennis players in the world. Mm-hmm. So if Roger Federer was, one generation back, Roger Federer would have won a lot more majors.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not actually playing just what he can control. He's also playing the field.
Mhm.
He's playing Nadal and Djokovic, who are the best two following Federer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So like Roger can't control what he's up against, what he has. Because if he was given an easier tournament, then he would have won more.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And
See,
I hate Tom Brady. I'm not trying to I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm not a Tampa Bay fan. I hate Tom Brady. He is cannot stand to see him win,
mhm,
but he has won and he keeps winning. And at his age, he's just the best athlete at his job. He is the best quarterback, yes, which makes him the best athlete because he dominates the football field more than anybody else dominates their sport.
yeah. Here, okay, so I 100% agree with what you're saying. You can only beat what's in front of you is basically how you're saying. Like,
Yes.
it's not like Brady is his fault that he can't play defense. He does his best at his job. But see, I think that's the exact point. Is like he is the greatest quarterback of all time. I'll give you that. He's one of the I will give you he might be the greatest competitor of all time. I'll give you that. But I won't give you he's the greatest athlete because to me, as an athlete, you could say Jerry Rice. You could say, even if we're not talking about winning, you could say Calvin Johnson is a better actual physical athlete.
Okay. Stop. I agree with that. Tom Brady is not the most athletic person to ever walk this earth.
Exactly.
So I think what I'm saying, I know what I'm saying is when I say athlete, I mean competitor.
Yeah,
I mean
get what you're
athlete as in he's Tom Brady. Look at him. He's not the most athletic. He's slow. He can't jump. No, he's not the most athletic person. He couldn't play defense if he was asked to, right?
Yeah.
There are players out there that could play offense, defense because they're just athletic.
Yeah.
But he is the greatest competitor. He is the greatest participant in sports to ever live.
I'll give you he's the greatest competitor. I'll 100% give you that. But
And I hate it. I don't like that, but I think we're witnessing it.
Yeah, I 100% think. I see. If anybody's watching this, they'll definitely be like, "Ethan's hating on Tom Brady." I'm not hating on Tom Brady. Tom Brady is one of the greatest athletes to ever walk this earth. My only issue with the way people explain GOAT is you're trying to say that GOAT is like he's the greatest of all time. And my response is if he's the greatest of all time, and you're saying that his job is so good and his job is so controlling in football, then how did he not win the Super Bowl last year?
Right.
He was on a football team.
Right. Okay.
So he should have won it. But what did everyone write it off? His offense was bad. Okay, so that means you can't win in a team sport without a good team. That's my biggest argument. You know what I always bring up to my dad, because we have this argument mainly circles around LeBron versus MJ because it's just a fun argument. This is my dad always brings up LeBron loses too many finals. And I always return and say, but look at the team LeBron took to the finals. Jordan, just to get to the finals, needed Pippen. LeBron, to get to the finals, can do it without Kyrie, without what?
Needed to switch teams.
Exactly. But also,
no.
Look at the first Cavs team he took to the finals. Name another superstar on that team.
Okay.
Exactly.
But he didn't win.
But he got there. And the fact that he's been to like what, 10? I know he's only won 4, but he's been to 10.
I think he's been to 11.
11. I might be one off. I think
he's 4 and 11.
But
I could also be wrong.
But that's not the main point of this argument. It's the fact that LeBron also needs players to get over the hump. He needed a Anthony Davis. He needed a Rajon Rondo. He needed a Kyrie Irving. Like, I don't know. To me, team sports, you can be the greatest competitor. You can be the greatest winner. Both of those, actually, I wouldn't give greatest winner to Tom Brady because I'd probably give it to like Pat Riley of the Heat, because like if you're looking at rings, he's probably got the most. Phil Jackson has 10. So like, I think, wait, Yeah, I might be right on that. Phil Jackson, I think, has like 10.
Thank you.
No, he has 11.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
Or maybe, I don't know if he won all 5 with Kobe, but I know he won all 6 with the Bulls. And if he at least won 5 with Kobe, then that makes it 11.
Um,
But that's my point. I just can't stand it when that happens. Because like in a sport like tennis, if you're having a bad day, you lose. In a sport like football, if you're having a bad day, but everyone else having a good day, you win.
Yeah.
That's my biggest point. Is team sports.
That's why I mean, let's be 100% honest. We can't, by me labeling that Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time, and what I really meant to say was competitor. All right.
Yeah.
By me labeling, it's almost like I'm disrespecting all other sports, and I'm not trying to do that.
I get that. Yeah.
It's impossible to actually say that Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time.
It's impossible to say anyone
is. You truthfully cannot compare sports.
Yeah.
Like it's not possible. It shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
But if it is done, then I have to say Tom Brady is the best.
So he's your pick?
Yeah. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to disrespect other athletes, other sports, but I just don't think that whatever argument is there.
Yeah.
Between sports, I give it to Tom Brady.
Yeah. This is me personally. I'm on the fence. So personally, I think it's you either go one of the 2 greats in golf. You either go Jack or Tiger.
I was about to say, that's the thing. Tiger's not even in. He's arguably not even the greatest of all time golfer.
Yeah, it's probably Jack.
Yeah, I would consider Jack to be.
So see, I'm in between Jack, Tiger. I'd probably go Jack because he has more majors. I think he has more wins. I might be wrong on that. Tiger might beat him in overall wins.
No, Tiger's got overall wins. I'm pretty sure Jack has majors.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give Jack.
But somebody has Tiger in wins.
Gary Player. I think Gary Player has him in
somebody
wins.
does.
But then I'm also of the belief that I would also say Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi are the greatest because they play a sport where there's 11 people on the field, which is the same as football, but you switch them out every play. But they also play a sport where they're beating everyone in the world, like actually in the world. And that's not Tom Brady's fault that football's not international. But that's the point I'm trying to make is like I would put one of them. And also, the other thing, I hated this conversation. I think ESPN did it on First Take. And I just saw a brief snippet of it. But they said because Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes in this Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes will never get to be the greatest of all time. And that's bull jive. If Patrick Mahomes goes on to win like 13 Super Bowls, there ain't he wasn't the greatest of all time because he lost to Brady. Like that's so dumb to me.
There's not. And I'm not putting, I'm not saying that's impossible, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes he's not going to get 8 Super Bowls.
Yeah. I think it's also like in 40 years from now, our kids could be like, no, blah, blah, blah is the greatest of all time. Like insert name because they could easily you never know what's going to happen with sports and it'll change it. If you say all time, you mean up until now, greatest up until now. Because in the future.
Why nobody knows what's going to happen. Right.
Exactly. I mean, Peyton Manning's nephew.
Greatest of all time.
Because it's time up until that point.
Right. Time, we don't know. There might not be any time left. Like,
I'd love to write a paper on this. Like an actual, scholarly paper on the GOAT.
GOAT, yeah. It's impossible.
It's such a subjective thing. Yeah, it's a subjective thing. You can't argue, no, this person is the greatest. It's subjective. People who grow up in Europe are like, okay, Tom Brady's great, but he doesn't play soccer. He doesn't play rugby.
Exactly.
He doesn't do cricket. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like we talked about
it's a great conversation that can't be won. That's what that is.
It is a prime bar conversation.
Yeah.
If you want to get into a talk with any sports bar and in any sports bar, easy money. Start this conversation. Just say who's the GOAT, and then everyone goes, "Oh, I have." They'll bring up people.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right.
Good
gonna,
conversation. I really enjoyed that.
yeah, it's always a fun argument. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut it here because Carter has for the golf at some point, and I need to clean up my room a little bit, and then I also might do pictures soon. So, yeah, if you like this video, the next one will probably come in 5 months. So sit tight and probably rewatch it a couple times. I'm just gonna stop putting out what I think it'll be when I think it'll be released. It'll be released. That's the information you need to know. But yeah, Carter, do you have anything?
Leave a comment saying who you think is the greatest athlete of all time.
Yeah, that one. That's a good one. All right, wait. Hold on. Is it Shift Control F? Aha! I've learned a skill. I'm gonna start making thumbnails. So let's take a picture of me and Carter. Carter, do something. Go like. Wait, hold on. We have to have our face like somewhere. Perfect. I'm gonna make one of those goofy thumbnails where both of us are just emphasized. All right. Anyways, if you're watching to this point, thank you for watching. We love you. Bye. Watch Duke versus UNC. Bye.
Go Heels.